Hey everybody, it's the Running Geek back with another episode of Minecraft Pocket Edition Overhaul. In this episode, we are going to overhaul what I've got in my hand here, the furnace. So let's get started. So as you know, the furnace is a very important piece of Minecraft. It allows us to smelt things up like iron ore, gold ore, to make armor and tools and that sort of thing. The furnace is a very integral part. It's also integral to making building materials, for example, like smooth stone, netherrack brick, etc. Glass. So there's a lot of things that the furnace can be used for. One of the things that the furnace is not, though, is very efficient by itself. So during your gameplay, if you ever try to smelt things up, you have to put something in the input, put the fuel in, and you get the result out when it's done. Now, wouldn't it be nice if there was a way for us to just automatically just put things in, for example, like a chest, leave, and come back and everything gets smelted for us? Well, luckily enough, that's already been done for us. And so let me show you the basic auto-smelter, if you will. I did not come up with this, and this has been in use for quite some time within Minecraft. It's a great way to really get things smelting and smelting fast. Get this built, and then we'll kind of go through each of the components and explain what is going on. Okay. So now that the auto-smelter is built, let's talk about a few of the components. We've got 3 chests here. The top chest is where you're going to put the items to be smelted, so cobblestone, iron ore, etc. The chest onto the side is where you're going to put your fuel. And the chest at the bottom is what's going to be outputted from the furnace. Now, the way this works is there's some properties on the furnace that allow this to happen, along with properties of hoppers. So you can see this hopper that goes from the chest to the furnace to the top. That is the input on this screen right here. That is the input for the furnace. So the input goes to the top of the furnace, and that can be done through a hopper. The other is the fuel, and you can see there's a hopper on the side here. So the chest for the fuel, the hopper goes from the chest into the furnace on the side. Now it should be noted that this hopper can be placed on any side, including the front, to load the furnace for fuel. The output chest, or the bottom chest here, you can see there's a hopper running out of the bottom of the furnace. So the hopper will pull anything from the bottom of the furnace, which is the output or result, and place it into the chest. So that's a basic single auto smelter. Let's show you the little bit more traditional double smelter that most people use in their survival world. So let me get this built, and I'll come back to you when that is done. Okay, so here is the more traditional double auto smelter. You can see we've got an input chest up here where you're going to put your ores, your cobblestone, sand, etc. to be smelted. Those go into these 2 furnaces. The output from both the furnaces are going into this double chest, so your output will end up here. And then on the back of the furnaces here, we've got a single chest for fuel. Now, one of the unique characteristics of the double smelter is the fact that there's a behavior that not many people talk about that allow this to happen. And that is the behavior of the double chest when it has 2 hoppers attached to the bottom. So you can see there are 2 hoppers here in a single chest. What happens is both hoppers essentially compete for resources in the chest, pulling each of them out at the same time, in essentially having or splitting in half the resources you have here. So this hopper will get half, and this hopper will get half, just because of the way the timing goes and the way it's going to pull things out of the chest. So half will go into this furnace, half will go into this furnace, and then they will all end up in a single chest. Now what that does is, because that chest is having the stacks or having the items to be smelted, this essentially creates a smelter that is 2 times as fast as the single smelter or the single auto smelter. this one over here. So that really doubles the efficiency. Now, I am going to crunch some numbers here and make sure that we're actually seeing a double efficiency here, or 2 times the smelting capability with this. And we'll crunch some numbers here. So this is an interesting fact. Now, the other thing is that the fuel is also being halved, and so you have an equal split of fuel between the furnaces as well. So very unique properties. But now one of the aspects is, can we use this to make this even better? So for example, can we use this halving technique with the chest to, let's say, use 4 furnaces? Well, let's find out. So here is the QuadSmelter. You put your items that need to be smelted in this chest, which then get divided between these 2 double chests, and then those items get divided in half or a quarter of all the items go to this furnace, a quarter goes to that furnace, a quarter goes to that one, and a quarter goes to that one, thus creating a furnace or a smelter that is 4 times faster than the single one here. So what I want to do is I want to quickly show you that this does work. So let's put some fuel in here and come around to the top here, and let's put in some cobblestone. Okay, immediately you can see the 4 furnaces turn on. And getting pretty close to being done here. So let's take a look at this chest, and boom, you can see there's 4 smooth stone. So that process does work. So theoretically now we've created a furnace or a smelter that is 4 times faster than the single one, which is great. But can we take this one step further? Can we make an Octa AutoSmelter that would be 8 furnaces? And so we can make something that's 8 times faster. Well, let's see if we can. Alright guys, there she is, the Octa AutoSmelter. So this is 8 furnaces that are all controlled by one single chest that you put your items to smelt in. We've got one single chest that you put your fuel in. So let's go ahead and actually do that real quick. And you've got one chest that you put your items to be smelted in. So let's grab some cobblestone. put the stack cobblestone in, you'll see immediately that the 8 furnaces light up. There they go. They're all working, and then we have one single chest that we should see smoothstone moving into. There you go. There's 8 smoothstone already being created. So theoretically, this is 8 times faster than the single auto smelter, the Octa AutoSmelter. But let's actually crunch the numbers and let's actually see if this is 8 times faster. Okay, so you can see from the chart, what I did was I tested each smelter, so the single furnace smelter, the dual auto smelter with 2 furnaces, the quad auto smelter with 4, and the Octa auto smelter with 8. And what I did was I conducted 3 separate tests with each smelter. So the first test I did was with 1 stack of cobblestone in each. The second test I did was 2 stacks of cobblestone in each. And finally, the last test was 5 stacks, because what I wanted to do was get a good average and not just take one result for determining the average and speeds of these smelters. So you can see for the single furnace, it took, for the 5 stacks, it took almost 52 minutes. For the dual, it took almost 27 minutes. Or 1600 seconds there. For the quad auto smelter, it took 14 minutes, and for our Octa auto smelter, it took just a little bit over 7 minutes to turn 5 stacks of cobblestone into smoothstone. So what does that actually mean? So there's some numbers that are actually useful to take out of this. So the first, or the next column after the number of stacks of cobblestone is the average seconds per block smelting. So you can see for the single furnace, it's roughly 13.5 seconds per block. So it takes 13.5 seconds to smelt 1 block. For the dual smelter, it takes 6.6, quad 3.5, and finally, the Octa AutoSmelter takes 2 seconds per block, which is huge. So then we can translate that into the average blocks per minute. So the single furnace, you get 4.5 blocks per minute. Yet for the dual smelter, you get 9 blocks per minute. For the quad smelter, you get almost 17, and for the Octa AutoSmelter, you get 30 blocks per minute. Then if we translate that into average blocks per hour, for the single furnace, you get 270. For the Octa AutoSmelter, you get 1800. I'm not going to read all those values to you. And then finally, the last column there is the efficiency. So the Octa AutoSmelter it comes out about 665% more efficient than the single furnace. Now you may say, but hey, Running Geek, there's 8 furnaces there. Shouldn't it be 8 times? And I would say yes. However, it seems like what actually is happening there is you have ticks in time that it's going to take the items to get split, make their way through the hoppers, and go into the actual furnaces. So that's probably what is accounting for that. Now, I could be a little bit more exact, but I didn't feel like I needed to, as a 670% efficiency rate was pretty good for me. And then finally, you can see the graph below. That's just showing the average blocks, the average blocks per minute. Hey guys, now that we've crunched those numbers and we've determined that the Octa AutoSmelter is 670% faster than the single auto smelter, hopefully you can see its usefulness in really smelting things up, especially in your survival worlds. This will make retrieving those items like smoothstone glass that much easier, and getting you building as quickly as possible. I know that it's not the prettiest build in the world. I know that it's not going to make your build look any better. There's no cool redstone going through here, but the footprint is really small. So you can, build a facade wall, put it in a basement somewhere. You could also use some item elevators and hoppers to kind of put this somewhere else rather than where your chests are as well. So with that, I'm going to call it an episode. I hope everybody has a great day, and thank you so much for watching.